Hello! As I'm sure many of you know, I am here standing in my lovely world. It is a place I built with my friends and where I get creative and have fun playing minigames. Normally we have good times here, but there's been someone over the past few years who has continually tried attacking us in an attempt to steal my dogs and take over my lovely world. Let me fill you in with everything that's happened so far with my ongoing struggle against my nemesis, Hit the Target. In the beginning, Hit the Target was one of my helpers, if not a particularly nice one. And then one day I noticed he was building a castle, and I came to the logical conclusion he was gathering an evil dog army to take over my world. When I went to investigate, he trapped me inside. Not long after, I was busy building when a helper informed me Hit the Target was invading. I collected my emergency invasion supplies from under my bed, instructed my dogs to follow me, then stormed his castle. During the battle, my dog Lucky sadly died, but I successfully defeated Hit the Target and his ghostly body still remained burning. We then celebrated by blowing up his castle. A while later, I was building the waterfall opposite my bedroom when I went to bed and was teleported to a land covered in cake and was ambushed by Hit the Target. He fired an arrow at me and I awoke safely back in my bedroom with an arrow left resting on my bed. Then, during my 4,000 subscriber special play, a ghost of Hit the Target entered the stage and went to fire an arrow at me. We quickly dropped the curtain and he disappeared. For the following few weeks, ghostly images of Hit the Target appeared throughout my world, sometimes just walking past and sometimes aiming his bow towards me. Then, when I entered the Nether, I encountered him in person. He informed me that in the Nether I'd be able to hear what he thought, and he explained to me that he's been trying to save my dogs, not steal them. We shared a cake together and then I killed him in order to bring him back to my world as a friend. After building a TV in my secret base, I scanned through the surveillance cameras around my world. I didn't notice it at the time, but I caught a short glimpse of Hit the Target escorting some of my dogs from my doghouse. I then noticed my dog slowly disappearing from my doghouse until only Barnaby was left. Later, while wandering across my world, I heard dogs barking from somewhere beneath me. I investigated inside Hit the Target's house and discovered a secret passage behind a bookcase. I released my dogs from their cages, but while travelling home in a minecart, I fell into a trap set by Hit the Target. After I escaped from the pit, I saw another Stampy chasing away Hit the Target. Later on, I tried to use my time machine to re-eat a very tasty cake when I accidentally teleported way in the past to before I had built anything in my lovely world. After a dangerous run-in with some dinosaurs, I decided to freeze myself to get back to the current day. I arrived on the same day as when Hit the Target trapped me in the pit, and I saved the past version of myself and chased Hit the Target back to his house. I managed to trap him in one of his own cages, but when I turned back round, he had somehow disappeared. I then used my time machine again and safely travelled back to current day. Hit the Target's next attack happened while I was in the middle of building a minigame. I saw his ship floating in the ocean and decided to sell my boat, the SS Stampy, to try and stop him. We battled across our boats until I summoned the Kraken, aka Squid Nugget, to help attack him. We forced him to walk the plank and then destroyed his boat. He must have somehow survived because while riding my submarine I discovered a new secret underground base. I fell for another one of his traps by eating some cake in the middle of a lava-filled room and then got plummeted into a cage with Mittens, my until then missing cat. I escaped the cage, then we chased each other back and forth until he eventually eluded me yet again. The next time I saw Hit the Target, I caught him in the act of stealing one of my dogs. We chased him down and got joined by a past clone of myself who sadly died during the fight. We killed Hit the Target, then head back to my house where we saw another Hit the Target, and we realised the first one must have been a clone. We battled and managed to defeat multiple Hit the Target clones. Over the next few weeks, a strange object could be seen flying through the sky in my lovely world. Then my dogs started showing up on top of trees and buildings. Eventually I realised that it was Hit the Target sailing a hot air balloon with a cage dangling beneath it. I sailed up to him in my own hot air balloon and we battled over a thin bridge high above the ground. I managed to knock him off the ledge, but he got rescued by my lunar friends in a passing UFO. I rescued Barnaby from the cage and then destroyed Hit the Target's balloon. Hit the Target's next attack started on Christmas morning. While I was opening my presents, he jumped out and lured me underground into his base. Just as Hit the Target was about to shoot me, my lunar friends jumped through the ceiling and saved me. I pursued Hit the Target, but he launched himself through the air and escaped. My lunar friends then explained they were being tricked into helping Hit the Target, and then they head back to the moon. I didn't see or hear of him again until Easter, where during my customary egg hunt I discovered my dogs had been replaced by crude models. I chased Hit the Target to my hotel and discovered he filled the building with TNT. He attempted to blow it up, but the Easter Bunny broke the redstone and saved the day at the last moment, but Hit the Target managed to slip away unnoticed during the commotion. A while later I was in the middle of a building project when I discovered a strange cake sitting on the ground. I wasted no time eating it and almost immediately fell asleep. I awoke trapped inside of an obsidian pit. Hit the target, then dropped water on my head, but I was able to keep breathing by replacing a redstone torch. I escaped the pit by using the bucket of water from inside of the dispensers to swim to the surface. I emerged on the top of the tower above his new castle and hit the target, escaped. For quite a long time while I was continuing building, long trails of dirt started appearing around my town. I eventually discovered a tunnel under my doghouse and followed it. It led to a room with a spider spawner underneath hit the target's castle. I barely managed to avoid a stream of lava and discovered Barnaby locked inside of a cage. Hit the target fled and I rescued Barnaby, then returned to my house where I discovered Hit the target had set fire to the front of the building. We managed to put out the flames, but I lost a good portion of my house to the blaze. On a different day I met a woman outside of my doghouse. She introduced herself as Viva and joined my world as a helper for a while. While we were meant to be building a vet together, she ran off to Hit the target's castle and I followed her. Viva passed Hit the target a wither skull and revealed herself to secretly be on his side. They worked together to spawn in a wither boss and then ran away to leave me to face it alone. A beaver arrived out of nowhere and helped me defeat it. He revealed himself as William Beaver and has remained as one of my helpers in my world to this day. Hit the target's next attack took me by complete surprise. Viva must have hacked my teleporter because it delivered me to a spider-filled chamber instead of my funland. After I re-entered my teleporter, I was delivered to a room where lava dropped from the ceiling and covered the ground. I managed to parkour my way back to the teleporter. It then sent me to their castle and I quickly ran back to my secret base to confront them. Viva slowed me down with a potion, allowing themselves to escape. Leading up to his next attack, my helpers kept acting strangely by walking around aimlessly and looking up at the sky. I hadn't noticed that during this time someone was continually building an antenna on the top of my lighthouse. When I finally saw it, I went to investigate and discovered a brainwave transmitter. I turned off the machine and my helpers returned to their normal selves. Polly hacked the machine and we used it to trap Hit the target and Viva in a pit. When it became night, the machine stopped working and they managed to escape. They attempted to take Polly as a hostage, but I tricked them into thinking she had really dangerous snowballs of doom and they fled. I caught them right in the act during their next dog theft attempt. Hit the target jumped onto the roof of my soggy sandwich while riding his horse, so I rode Harry and chased after him. Harry and I fell into a pond, but Fizzy Elephant saved the day and tied Hit the target and his horse up with a lead. After bouncing up and down for a while, Hit the target jumped into the water and sailed away. The following time we faced off against each other, I decided to go after him proactively, assuming he was about to attack me. I met him in his castle, but he was wearing a full set of enchanted diamond armor. Despite getting the drop on him, his armor and Viva potions kept him alive. I realized I couldn't win the fight, so instead I tried building away from him, but he hit me with an arrow and knocked me into the water. I tunneled under his castle, but he chased after me, trying to finish me off. I managed to get back to my dogs, and by all working together we were able to scare them off. For a while before their next attack, we regularly saw bubbles floating in the background while we built. We didn't realize it, but it was Hit the target and Viva using invisibility potions. During a minigame involving a giant coffee cup, my dogs kept teleporting to me. I returned to my doghouse to see what was up and noticed my dogs sliding around the floor by themselves. I followed the bubbles and managed to trap an invisible Viva inside the coffee cup, but I was pushed in myself by Hit the target, who then started filling the area with lava. While Viva tried smashing herself with a fire resistance potion, it hit me as well and I was able to escape. Viva then splashed an invisibility potion on themselves and the dogs, and they all turned invisible. Fizzy forced them to pick up cookies so we could see them, and they ran back to their castle. I should have seen their next attack coming because there was a Hit the target coloured satellite hovering above my world for a while. Then, just after we had finished building Polly's house, a laser shot down from the sky and destroyed it. Then another laser fired next to the doghouse and destroyed Squid's home. I piled up to the satellite and scared Hit the target off with my bow and arrow. I took control of his satellite and tracked him from above as he met up with Viva and ran back to their castle. As revenge, I shot a laser on their castle and almost totally destroyed it. We engaged each other in combat over the castle's ruins and I forced them to back off. Their next attack was especially cruel because it happened during our fancy dress party. Viva gatecrashed our party and lured me back to the new castle they'd rebuilt from the crater formed by the laser. I was stuck in a cage with a room containing 2 polar bears. I dug through the floor and was ambushed by spiders. After digging through the walls, I discovered I was surrounded by lava. I used the string I looted from the spiders to pole my way out of the pit. I fell for a decoy, then sprinted back to the doghouse. After discovering Hit the target had trapped my helpers, I dressed in Viva costume and pretended to be her. He fell for my rouge and I was able to lead my dogs to safety. My cover was blown when the real Viva Dash returned, but I was able to release my helpers, and now we outnumbered them, we were able to chase them away and save the day. For a while, I kept having some strange glitches where I seemed to rewind back in time. Then, during a tour of my world, Hit the Target attacked me and killed my dog Barnaby, and in return I took him out. Then I unexpectedly rewound and Barnaby was back with me. Hit the Target attacked me again, but this time I knew he was coming, so I hid Barnaby. We battled and once again I defeated him, but time rewound itself once more and he returned. I determined that I needed to deactivate whatever was allowing Viva Dash and Hit the Target to turn back time. I stuck to their castle and saw Viva Dash operating a giant remote control. I attacked but got rewound again. I snuck from another angle and this time I was able to pause them with the remote control. I then rewound time back to when they were in bed, but in an attempt to destroy the machine, I rewound time right back to when I was in the bedroom that morning. Thankfully, they have never tried to rebuild a remote control again. Leading up to his next attack, everyone kept noticing strange machines near where we were building. Every time I happened to pass one, I would lose the ability to speak. Then, while touring my new skyscraper, my voice cut out completely and I discovered Hit the Target in my office. He explained that the machine was allowing him to speak through me. He explained that he wanted to take over the world and put me in a pretty negative light. He ordered me to gather up my dogs and lead them to his castle. While on the way back to his castle, we came across Fizzy and Hit the Target pretended to be me and made me say what he was thinking. I switched the lever and explained the truth to Fizzy and my other helpers chased him away. The next time he attacked me was during my helicopter flight around my lovely world. He shot me up the sky with a giant cannon, then trapped me in his castle along with Barnaby. There was lava covering one exit and a trap that would have knocked Barnaby into the lava on the other. I would have been stuck forever if it wasn't for my helpers. They worked together to set up a trap to trick Hit the Target to fall into it. They then tunneled under the castle and battled through spiders to release me and save Barnaby. Unfortunately, in the meantime, Hit the Target was able to escape. Before our next encounter, Polly Reindeer kept acting strangely. Then, while I was busy building, Hit the Target and Viva Dash poured lava through the ceiling of the building. I escaped, but for some reason Polly joined them. I discovered the real Polly was trapped in their castle, and who I thought was Polly was actually an almost invincible robot. I pointed out the inconsistencies in its own programming, and it turned on Hit the Target and Viva Dash, allowing me to rescue the real Polly. Their next attack was once again on Christmas Day. I called them in my clubhouse, but foolishly thought they wanted a truce as they brought me cake. Then, when they started acting strangely, I figured out that they weren't the real Hit the Target and Viva Dash, they were robots. I confronted them and they blasted off into the sky and crashed into my clock tower. The real Hit the Target then ambushed me in my doghouse, and I would have been done for if Polybot didn't crash through the ceiling and chase them away. Polybot saved Christmas, then travelled back to the North Pole with Santa. Before their next attack, we kept seeing a parrot perched near wherever we were building, but didn't think anything of it. I went to my doghouse and then to my horror I saw all of my dogs were missing. I rushed to Hit the Target's castle and saw a new building next to it. I heard barking coming from inside, so I charged in. I landed on an island in the middle of a pit of lava and realised the dog sounds were coming from the parrot Hit the Target had been using to spy on me. Viva Dash appeared at the doorway to guard me but got pushed into the lava by a zombie. She saved herself in the last moment by using a fire resistance potion, and we were forced to team up in order to escape. She helped nudge me onto some vines, allowing me to climb to safety. Then I threw her some blocks so she could build herself out. I chased away Hit the Target, then discovered my dogs had been hidden behind the back wall of my doghouse. His next attack was one of his trickiest yet. A strange doorway appeared outside the front of my house. When I went to investigate what was through it, I was transported to a strange dimension. Hit the Target was there with another ginger cat. He explained that he was able to talk because we weren't in my world, and that he would replace me with another Stampy and trap me in a mirror version of my world. They disappeared, and when I went back through the door, I was in an opposite version of my world. I met 3 helpers I didn't recognise and panicked that I wouldn't be able to get back home. I eventually realised that because I set my spawn in my bed back in my lovely world, if I died here I would be taken back there. I jumped off the top of my clock tower and I appeared back in my lovely world. I found everyone with my dogs outside my doghouse and persuaded the other Stampy to help fight the villains, but unfortunately he got taken out during the battle. I was able to chase them away, and while destroying the door I realised that the other Stampy would have been sent back to his own world. And that brings us up to now. It has been over 7 years of conflict with Hit the Target, and I've come to realise that he could attack me at any moment, and what was that noise? Look, someone's come through the door and... Oh, it's William Beaver. Hi William Beaver, how's it going? Anyway guys, that's the end of this video here. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye!